let me show you the functionality here. You'll see that we've got an item counter up on top, and we got a little print string saying that a player has spawned. And then we have an item spawner over there that gives out our acorn. So I go over there, press E, I get it, and you'll see the count goes up by 1. And then I have this button over here, and if I toggle it, the display goes off and on, off and on, off and on. And then another acorn comes in. Oh boy, I can have that for winter breakfast. There, I have 2 of them. The cool thing about this is we can toggle the display off and on. This is good for multiplayer, and we can keep counting up our score. That score count can then be used to determine who's the winner, what should happen, all different kinds of things. I'm showing you the end at the beginning so you can see what we're doing, but this is a walkthrough of what we just finished programming. So to get started, I'm just going to go into Verse and create a blank project. I'm actually running out of project names, to be honest with you. Left click, right click, add new Verse file, and I'm going to call this item device counter and go create. And let's see if it'll let me build it. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to double click into this. We have the code written, so I'm just going to go Control A and Control V. And we're going to come back and walk through this in just a minute. So I'm going to minimize that. Let's go ahead and build that code. And then let's go ahead and drag it into the scene. And I know that there's some things that I'm going to need. So we're going to need a conditional button. We're going to need a button. And we're going to need an item spawner. So let's go ahead and take care of all this device stuff. The first thing that we need to do is we need to go to this folder here, and let's just get a button. And this button is going to be for us to clear our UI off the screen, or to toggle it off and on. And then we're going to get a conditional button. And what's interesting about this is so interesting, is we just need this for one function that's inside of it. That's all we don't need anything else. We don't need this device for anything else other than for one method inside of it. And that's to get our inventory. So actually with this selected right now, I can just click over here and search for visible and just turn it off because we don't need to see it in the game. It's definitely a behind the scenes operation. And I guess while it's selected, I guess I can go ahead and just set the other setting on here, which is the acorn. That's what it's going to keep track of. And then the next thing, we're going to get a item spawner because we need a way to get acorns. And so let's see, item spawner right here. And then we're just going to have it dispense some acorns for us. So we'll just come up here and go there. And then we can have it spawn, give us something when the game starts. So I'll just select the player spawner here. And we'll just set that to on spawn. The last thing that we need to do is go into the outliner and search for island settings. Click here. And then down here on island settings, we need to search for infinite. And we need to make sure that's checked off. Otherwise, it's going to mess up our conditional button. It's going to show some really large value. And that's all we need to do for our devices. And then if I click on our verse device, let me clear this. So we're going to go ahead and set up our player spawners here. So click that twice. We'll hook up one there and hook up one there. And then on our counter here, we're going to go to our conditional button for our counter and then our button there. So we're all linked up, and I can go ahead and build the verse code again, save everything. No errors. That's great. So let's just walk through this code. I've tried to put comments in here to explain things, but there is a little bit involved with this, so I will put this in paste bin. And that is just my gift to you as a viewer and subscriber, hopefully. We're going to have a Boolean set to false, and this is going to be for our toggle switch. We have a variable of essentially the message type. So this is what's going to update our counter. Here what we do is what you just saw me set is we're going to set an array of spawner devices, player spawner devices, and we're going to loop through these, and that's how we're going to initialize everybody's UI in the game. So this is a multiplayer counter. And then we have a @editable for our conditional button, which we're not even going to see in the game. We just want it for one method. And then we have an @editable for our button device. And then here we create a map. And so this is a map, and it has an agent as its key and a text block in an option container. And every agent will be paired with their own text because everybody will have a different counter. Here what we do is we initialize essentially the text block up here, and up here we can set its default text color. Now, I've done a tutorial about this in the past. We also do the same thing with the overlay. So on key widget components like the panels or things like text, it's important, depending on what you're planning on doing, to initialize them up here. And as you'll see, if we initialize them up here, then it's very easy, no matter where we are in the code, to toggle their visibility off and on. So here we have on begin play, and we have our spawner array up here, and we go ahead and we loop through it. We have a player spawned method, we have an initialize UI method, we have an update UI, we have a make HUD, and then we have a toggle switch. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 methods, 5 functions that we have in here. And so this first one, it just prints out a string saying that the game has started. And here what we do, this is a very interesting line of code worth studying. Essentially what it's doing is it's querying a map with its key to see if it has a value in it. And that's what this is doing. So you might think that this is one way that we unpack option containers, but we're not unpacking an option container here. We're just querying the map key to see if it has a value. So this is a very interesting line of code. And if there's something in there, in a sense, if the agent has text, then don't do anything. That's what these two curly braces mean. Don't do anything. So we're just doing a check to make sure that the agent doesn't already have a text block. That's all this really is. And they shouldn't have one because we didn't give them one. So this should almost always fail. I don't know when or why this would ever succeed or come back true. So it should always almost fail. So when it fails, then it just jumps here to this initialize UI. Just is a function call with the agent coming through the spawn, and it's calling then initialize UI. And what this does is it turns around and calls update UI and make HUD UI. And then essentially this is just creating our UI. Now I've done tutorials about this too. I'm using an overlay instead of a canvas panel. You see a lot of people using canvas panels, but in my mind, they're almost more trouble than they're worth. And these overlays are just so much easier to set up. And you can put padding on any side of the overlay. You just have to align it horizontally and vertical. And then with padding, you can place it pretty much anywhere you want on the screen. So this is just so much simpler, and you don't have to mess with anchors. This just verifies that it's been created for us. And then what it returns when it's called, and this is kind of tricky, it calls, right? But then it returns essentially the UI, the overlay. And here what we do is we set the overlay panel then. And that's a variable that we claimed up here, right here. We claimed that variable up here. Here we set it. Then when we call to make UI, we get the overlay panel and we set it then. We officially set it. So then once that's set, we move along and we get the agent that we got. This is a typecast right here. So we cast from the agent to the player, and the only reason we're doing that is so that we can get the player UI, because there's a method called get the player UI. So we go ahead and get the player UI and assign it to player UI. And then once we have the player UI, then we can add the widget. And then we just turn around and add our overlay panel. Then once we have that done, this is really interesting too. Then we spawn out, which essentially creates an asynchronous function. This is an asynchronous function, and that's why it has suspense here. It can function outside of the time flow of the program on its own. It's creating its own little island of code off by itself here. Even though it's mixed in, it's off by itself, running asynchronously from everything else. It comes in, and what it's doing is this is really the star of the show here, this update. Because what it's doing is, you'll see here, it's referencing the conditional button, and you see where it says get item count. that's the method inside the conditional button that we want, and it's essentially assessing our inventory. And then we send in an agent, and the key item that it's looking for, which is 0, is the acorns. So that's the key item 1. It has a 0 value. So then once we get that, we put it to sleep for a second because it doesn't need to check it every millionth of a second. Every second seems plenty. So it checks it every second, and then we just update that value on our text box, set text with our current count. And that's all we have to do. And so down here we have a toggle switch where we can set our visibility off and on. So if we don't want to see our overhead display, we can turn it off. We give the player a chance to turn it off. And that's all there is to it. So anywho, I'm going to go ahead and push these changes